We currently have the best deal of the year live now on poodlecfb.com. If you use code FLASH, capital F, you get $65 off the annual plan, or if you use code FLASH 2025, capital F, you get $6 off the monthly plan. You unlock exclusive spreadsheets, in-depth info, and our members-only Discord. Come join thousands of other members in the fastest growing and best CFB Dynasty community out there. Don't miss out. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Poodle back with another CFB 26 video, and in today's video, I'm going to go over the 10 best recruiting tips that you need to follow to dominate Dynasty. Guys, we're running a special deal right now. If you use code FLASH, capital F, you'll get $65 off the annual plan. If you use code FLASH 2025, capital F, you get $7 off the monthly plan. This is the best deal so far of CFB 26. It's a grandfathered in deal, so if you lock this in, you get to keep this deal for the remainder of the lifetime of your membership. Check it out, guys. We just launched Player Calculator V1, which allows you to input your archetype, your skill points, and the level of your player, and it shows you exactly how long it'll take them to grow and how many skill points they need. It'll show you the fastest versus slowest growing archetypes. We launched our master spreadsheet, which has thousands of lines of data over multiple tabs. We have a lot of other tools over there that you guys want to check out. Want to be a part of the best discussions in the best community in CFB right now? Make sure to check it out, guys. The game got patched multiple times this week based off of testing and data that we have over there in poodlecfb.com. So come be a part of it. Sign up now. Use code FLASH or code FLASH 2025. Starting at number 10, all the way in the back, know who you are competing against during recruiting battles. Guys, that is the easiest way to make or break a recruiting battle, is know who you're going against. So let's look at a few guys and the 5-star tier here, just so you can see like an idea outside of recommended, which is just going to show me in the front mostly. Let's add a few guys to my board and show you guys what I'm talking about. So right now, first, you have like 7 blue chip teams above you. Let's start there. That's already going to be like maybe a 15 to 10% chance, assuming that I think I could beat Missouri and maybe Florida's not filled right now, but know you're competing against. If I'm a custom coach with LSU, and I know that the Alabama and Georgia guy kept their current coaches, then you have to know that. So for instance, in leagues that I go against LSU, a lot of people I go against who have LSU in other leagues, they all kept Brian Kelly because he has a elite recruiter. So if I'm going against LSU and I'm not in first, or even if it's close, I'm typically staying away from that recruiting battle because I know in the interim, in the early few stages before I get elite recruiter, he's going to beat me. So whenever you're in a recruiting battle, know who you're against. If I'm going against one guy left, let's say I'm at the top of this board, it's just me and it's Notre Dame left, and the recruit is in East Texas, I know that I'm going to get a 10-point visit while Notre Dame might be getting a 25. And I don't care that I'm slightly behind because I know I'll get a cheaper visit than them. And I know that I'm getting my pipeline interest boost. Just know what the pipelines are, know who the person you're going against is, and get a rough idea for what you think their approach will be based on who you've been playing with for years. This next one's really important to me. And remember, vary this and like scale this back based on what kind of team you're using. If you're a 1-star school, this applies to like, and 2-star school, this applies to like 2, 3, 4 stars. If you're a 4 or 5-star school, this mainly applies to 5 and 4 stars. But always offer a scholarship to someone that has you first on their board. Guys, this is so obvious for a few reasons. First, if you're going for elite recruiter, program builder is ridiculous, but I have all these guys in first. Always offer, because like I've seen people who won't even filter by first. What they'll do is, this is incredible, but you guys get the point. Oh, I see people who filter, and they'll go through and they'll scout, and they'll keep guys on their board that are just who they want the most, when you could easily lock up top 5 recruiting classes by strictly focusing on your guys in first. But more importantly, what really matters here isn't even just the fact that they're going to be easier to win. It's that you could actually get some insta commits. And that's what's important to me. Every insta commit you get gives you a major boost in regards to your future of your dynasty, as well as getting elite recruiter. Because right there, that already puts us ahead of everyone else who can get one. And remember, it's an hours, it's a numbers game. If you have 1,000 hours and you can only offer X amount of recruits, let's call it 15 with a little bit extra with 65, that's only 15 guys I can get. For a full class that's going to be top 5, I'm going to need about 20 to 27 recruits. So I have to come back in again and get more guys. If I can just off rip, get a few insta commits on these guys, then I'm set. In my other league, I got 3-4 insta commits right off rip, just off a pipeline boost. And that was enough alone to give me a huge advantage so that when my first initial recruiting class comes through, I'm already in the lead. And that is so important. It just gives you such a good foundation to work on. And of course, if you have Dream School and whatnot, you do actually get a bigger percentage here on how many you probably get. Like Georgia probably would have gotten like 5 already off of these. But that's 2. And there's so many more guys in first we can go through. What I recommend doing, especially when you have all these guys in first, is that's great right there. That made up for the ones we missed before. What I recommend doing is now you can go up and take a few guys off your board and go back to your prospect list and keep adding more of those first guys. Make sure every guy in first gets a scholarship. After that, you can then reassess, like, okay, I got 7 instant commits. That's cool. That's fine. Now I'm going to get who I really want to go after on the who's still in first, but guys I'm going to go and recruit after. And that's just an easy way to get a top class. Right there, you see we already have 4 4-stars and we did nothing special. All we did was start a fresh dynasty. Anyone could do that. Again, if you're a smaller school, do it on your page, on your pace, right? Maybe it's going to be 3 stars and 2 stars for your instant commits. Maybe you're not going after the 5s or 4s, you're going after 2 and 3s, and that's fine. And if you're a big school, you're not going after 2s and 3s. Same exact thing. This next one, I'm gonna make a whole video going over like the data we ran on poodlecfb.com, the success rates, but this one's a pretty cool one as well. And honestly, this year with talent developing being kind of king, and possibly being even better than long-term recruiting, possibly in terms of like, instead of fighting with everyone for recruits, you can just go this route all in and possibly reach a similar end game or end goal here. Strategist, tier 4 mind reader. Now I'm gonna turn my camera off so you guys can read it, but you should know what it is. Increased chance to learn a dev trait while scouting a player. So the success rate that we ran over there, all the data's on there. Again, if you're a member, you can go check it out in our spreadsheet or ask in the chat at me. But that mind reader trait allows you to know their dev trait. So what you can also do, this is a very intriguing strategy, and like I said, I will make a video going over this. What I would do is, I'm not going to actually fully scout players. You learn their dev trait on the first scout, right there behind my webcam again in that corner where it says dev trait. On your first attempt at scouting, you actually learn their dev trait, or you don't, but it's predetermined. So don't scout like, look at this. This is going to cost me 3, 4, 5, 50 points. You don't need to do that. On the first click, the first scout, the first 10 points you spend, you either learn their dev trait or you don't. Any click after that does not learn the dev trait. So don't waste your points. So what you can actually do is you can go down your board like this. There's another really good strategy. If you're going with that small school build I told you guys about with strategists, just do that. Go down like this and learn as many dev traits as you can. Then what you do is you wrap back around and kick guys off your board that you didn't learn, bring some more guys back onto your board, figure it out. Once you have this whole list, you're gonna see like, okay, 4 guys with elite dev, 5 guys with star, 6 guys with impact, and keep all the elite and star devs, and you could strictly just recruit elite and star devs. If you do that, you're gonna end up with this insane high ceiling team that obviously is gonna have a lower floor because they're not 5 stars, but you're always hitting the ceiling. So last year, the reason the 5-star method was so powerful is because even if we did get some bust, even a 5-star bust, we were still hitting a lot of stars. But even if they did bust, we brought in so much talent that some of them would be great. Now this year, if you can't get elite recruiter and you bust at 3 and 4-star positions, you're going to be at a lower floor and threshold than they are. But if you strictly bring in elite and star dev guys, those guys have the same ceiling as a 5-star. Then you double down with talent developer tier 1 through 3 with your coordinators and your head coach, and you get motivator tier 3. Now you're looking at guys who are being like, you're building like cyborgs, but you need to have that elite and star dev to do that. So this is another great strategy, especially if you followed my small school strategist build. The next one's huge, and I just made a video going over this, so if you haven't checked it out, definitely check it out. And that's after you get your initial round of recruits in, or you have your like base of what you want to do, go back to this board and filter by offers. So as you guys see, all these guys have offers, filter by offers, and go look at all the guys who went unrecruited. This is a great way to do 2 things. First, if you have the mind reader trait, like I said, you can go and see any of these guys who have sneaky good dev trait that you could just steal very easily, especially after your first round. Or like I did it, where once I establish early dominance with some of these recruits, or some guys give up or back out in it, I then go and start offering these guys with 0 offers and get them on my board and start giving them some hours. That way I can do the rug pull method on my other guys, get these guys on my board, and now I can get this big class of 20 to 27 recruits and go for elite recruiter. It's great for getting elite recruiter. It's also great just for having depth. It's a great way to just steal some players. A bunch of 4 stars, increase your blue chip ratio, increase your recruiting class, reset your roster. This works for any size school. Of course, like I said, if you're a 1-star school and you don't have access to 4 stars, you could do this with 3 stars. But if you follow my tip video over on strategist, if you get your deal breakers lowered as a 1 or 2-star schools, you can effectively get some 4 stars on your board. And if they go unrecruited, they're free for you. This actually could be more beneficial for a small school. Leading off of this, rug pull method, which if you guys don't already know, the rug pull method is basically when I have a huge lead on a player, or I see no one going against me. Like let's say right now, no one else offered. I would pull my hours off and just go recruit someone else and come back to him later because I know he's locked up because no one's going to join this race, or no one has joined the race. Rug pull is better than ever this year because this year 50 hours is the standard. Last year everyone had hours super early because it was one of the recruiting traits. Now with elite recruiter adding the hours to the back end of elite recruiter, it has gotten significantly harder for everyone to gain access to it, especially early on. So right now, everyone has 50 hours, which means you can go after way more recruits. Last year, I was going in on like 7 to 12. Now I'm going in on 12 to 20 at any given time, which means before, if I could rug pull 1 or 2 guys, I got an extra 1 or 2 recruits. Now this year, I could rug pull 3 or 4 guys and bring in 5 to 6 more guys, especially if I'm doing like 25-25. If I'm trying to just rug pull unrecruited guys. Rug pull is way more important this year, especially because we're operating with 50 hours. And in terms of trying to get elite recruiter, rug pull is even better because you're trying to get as many recruits as possible. And by doing with 50 hours this year, you're not going to be just going head to head with people and beating them because you can beat them. There's going to be some luck. You got to hope they don't get the hard sell. By doing the rug pull this year and like more chances at bat and recruiting 22, 25 guys actively, if you lose 2 or 3 because of bad luck, you're still bringing 17. If you go in strictly on those few guys and you lose a few, your class is cooked. Rug pull is more important than it's ever been. Following up off that as well, 50 hours means one thing. And again, you can have a current coach, or you can have a elite recruiter. Early on, with the idea that most people have 50 to 65 hours, right now, what is king is pipelines, and visit cost. Right now, having a good pipeline that's tier 5 and having these guys in first is going to be the most beneficial thing right now. Because if you guys are all using the same hours, having that early interest lead is huge. So pipelines and your visit cost is king. Going after guys who are top in your top 3 pipelines, like your 5, 4, or 3, who have you high on their board, combined with the fact that I can bring in a guy from Baton Rouge for a 10-point visit, goes such a long way in dominating recruiting this year, especially again early on. So people have their CEO and their elite recruiter, and even then, because coach packages are expensive, you can't max out everything. Pipelines and proximity visits are so key right now, almost exclusively. Like 95% of the way I recruit right now is strictly looking at where they're located and are they in my pipeline for easy starting interest. Plus, combining that with what I believe to be a super OP build, because I already want to go the talent developer route. So how perfect is it that I'm huge on program builder and talent developer, and tier 4 is boost to pipeline bonus. So you get an extra pipeline bonus. So all you got to do is go up 1 more tier, which I already recommended tier 3, and you combo this with program builder, and pipelines and starting interest is just king right now. And visit cost. Taking this a step further though, if you do unlock elite recruiter and you follow my tips, hours are still king. We've tried a few things over on poodlecfb.com. We've tested out Dream School. We tested out the insta commits, the gains getter. We tested out lasting impression, all this stuff. While all of these packages can be great and they're all helpful, hours are still king. If you can get tier 4, always be prudent. If you can get increased weekly hours, you will dominate your recruiting cycle each and every time. You can still bully people. The problem is you just got to get there. Right now, when you look at the state of recruiting, right now it's a throw up in the air, right? But hours are still king. If I have every other package where someone has 75 hours or 80 hours, they're going to beat me. If I have a huge pipeline bonus and a high starting interest, but someone has 80 hours, over the course of a few weeks, they will eventually catch me and beat me, just like last year. So that is still attainable. It's just a little different in the fact that they made it tier 4 elite recruiter when last year I would believe it was tier 4 regular recruiter. So to gain access to this, you either got to choose a coach, which again is great because if someone goes all in on keeping a current level 80 coach that comes with elite recruiter, that's fine, but you barely have any levels or skill points left or coach points left to accrue. So there's not much more you can do, and your coach build's kind of cooked overall. So I'm not overly scared. What I'm more overly scared of is the guy who starts at level 0 and follows all of our tips and builds that ideal coach build, because by year 6, 7, 8, whatever it is, that is a disgusting build. And you don't have to get to level 100 for that build. Getting to level 60 gets the majority of the job done. The last 40 is just capping them off. But let's go to the next tip. I've heard a lot of people say recruiting's nerfed in CFB 26. We heard recruiting isn't that good anymore. I heard that development's king. Development is and may be king, but it's not because recruiting isn't good anymore. Recruiting's just harder to obtain. It's like anything in life. If it's hard for the average person to obtain, go with the more efficient route. And that's obvious, right? So, elite recruiter, tier 4, increased hours, still likely, probably the overall best package in the game. But it's expensive, and a lot of people, getting a top 5 class isn't easy, especially when you start a new league, and a few guys keep the Bama coach, the Georgia coach, and the LSU coach, and they just get a top 5 class literally every year based off of their coaches. That only leaves like 2, maybe 1 spot every year that opens up for a new team to get their first top 5, and you got to do that twice. It could take years. If you're only in a dynasty that runs for seven seasons, I've seen people say this. I'm in a dynasty, we only run 6 or 7 seasons, and we start at small schools. Yeah, elite recruiter dead. It's going to take you at least 4 to 5 seasons to compete for elite recruiter, and even if you do unlock it by year 7, you never got to use it. So for me, it's tougher, but hours are still king. If you can get to tier 4, it is still probably the best package in the game. It's just tough to do. So I want people to understand that recruiting isn't dead, but it's tougher. And considering it's this hard to get it all done, I lean talent developer, motivator, program builder, building and getting easy wins, because while that may net you like this difference in recruiting, like you won't get that extra 10% of margin on like the higher floor 80 overall recruits. I'll make it up in developing, which you don't have to do. You don't have to be great at the game. You don't have to think too much. It will do it for you based on those packages. So if you want to, like, this is more of a skill gap type, like skill gap, I should say. There's more of a skill gap where if you can get to this, you will just dominate people recruiting and you follow the tips. But if you don't, and you want to take the easier route, developing may be king just as a whole, consensus wise for everyone. This one hopefully should be obvious, but I see a lot of people doing this. Stop scouting the stupid archetypes. There's some archetypes in this game that you have no business bringing onto your roster, and I see people like blindly scouting. When you're scouting running backs, contact seeker fine. When you get to a north-south blocker, do not waste your scouting points on them. They are not viable options as your running back. If you're just looking for a blocker, that's fine. Just bring him in. You don't need to know what his blocking starts at. He's a north-south blocker. You're not looking for a speed or anything else. Like, your reason you scout a contact seeker or an elusive back, you want to see what their speed is, what their power is, and really what you just want to see what their speed is and their acceleration. North-south blockers, don't check out what they're doing. Don't check out what they are. Same thing with tight ends that are blockers. A pure blocker, if you're bringing one in to play an extra left tackle for you, that's fine. Don't waste your scouting points on them. And this goes for a lot of positions. There's so many positions where it's like you didn't need to see what they were. That was pointless. It's like a kicker at times. You're just looking for kick power. That's fine. Strictly look for that. Once you have that unlocked, stop scouting. Same thing with a running back. If you see the speed early on, stop scouting. Like, there's only certain things you need to see at any given position, and this applies for a lot of them. Just look at some of the archetypes. Some of them are like throwaway archetypes that I would never recommend recruiting. If you check out my last few videos, the best offensive archetypes and best defensive archetypes, go check that out. I go over like the archetypes that are wasteful or not worth going after at all. Don't scout them. Just, if you're going to bring them in, just bring them in. There's no point in scouting them. Lastly, and super important, the universal best tip for me right now, and this is the way this game's set up. Like I said, Elite Recruiter Tier 4 may be the best package. Talent Developer Tier 4 is great, but universally that everyone can basically get, and people say they can't, you can. Everyone can basically get, eventually, it's a much lower ceiling than CEO. That's going to be Program Builder. Program Builder is one of the best packages in the game because of all the universal benefits you get. Strong Roots and Relationship Builder fully maxed gets all your pipelines up, it gives you what I showed you before, which is LSU having all those ones. And of course, because it's LSU, but he doesn't even have it all maxed out. If I upgraded this and tier 2 and tier 3 and then tier 3 here, and I had this all maxed out, all those first place guys that I'd have with increased starting interest, it would do so many things for me. First, it would put me first in a lot more lists, which then means way more instant commits opportunities, right? You need to be in first. Those are the first two things, which means more easier elite recruiting classes or elite recruiting qualifying classes because I can get a lot of instant commits, which also means more options for recruiting. I'm not limited to the 7 guys that have me first. I now have 70 guys, and I can just cherry pick all the ones that I know I'm going to win and get a 25, 30 class of 4 stars and 5 stars. It also means that I'm getting bonuses for everything I do on these. It also means that I have access to more pipelines that I may not have had before in terms of starting interest. I get extra bonuses and boosts, but it does so much. It's like an amplified effect. Also, what it does, it maximizes the rug pull method. Because now that I have all this crazy starting interest, a lot of people may not even try to compete with me. Oh, LSU, Brian Kelly, I'm just staying out of that fight. Then after 1 week, you take a huge lead. No one else wants to go against you. Now you can just start rug pulling like crazy. Starting interest, Program Builder is king right now. Like I said, recruiting hours are also king, but it just takes much longer to get to, and you may not always see it. It's kind of like CEO. This is something that I'm confident that most people can get to, and some coaches start with. And if you have access to it, this is universally the easiest thing, like no skill involved. You open it up and you have your interest boost. But guys, that wraps it up. These are my 10 best recruiting tips. If you want to see more videos like this and some in-depth thoughts on this, let me know down below. Of course, always go to poodlecfb.com for the most in-depth analysis of everything CFB 26. Best Dynasty community out there. Come join over 1,000 active members. Finally hit 1,000. Very excited about that. The road to 2,000 begins now. But guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, check out poodlecfb.com. Use code FLASH, capital F, for $65 off the annual plan, or code FLASH 2025, capital F, for $7 off the monthly plan. You're grandfathered into that insane deal. Come check it out, guys. Don't miss out. Thank you for watching. I'm out. Peace.